What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I'm going to be talking about the perks in Black Ops 3. I have a full perk list here with some images for you so you guys can actually see what those images look like. And I'm going to be talking about what my opinions are on the balance of these perks, how I feel they're balanced, and which of the perks I feel are going to be most used, and some of the perks I feel aren't really going to be used very much. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so just in case you weren't aware, the Create a Class system is practically identical to Black Ops 2's Create a Class system. So when I'm talking about these perks, just keep in mind you can use a wildcard, so you can end up using two perks from the same tier, but it's going to cost you an extra point just to get that wildcard to be able to use those two. And it is essentially just the pick 10 system from Black Ops 2, so just in case you're wondering about that. So let's start it off with the first tier of perks. So these are going to be the blue perks, and these are kind of the perks that essentially determine what kind of a class it's going to be. That's how I like to see this tier of perks anyways, and I really like that. Black Ops 1 had this as well as Black Ops 2. This was that one tier that sort of determined what your class was going to be like. So this one contains Flak Jacket, Blind Eye, Ghost, Blast Suppressor, Afterburner, and Overclock. So first, I just want to quickly explain what Afterburner and Overclock are, because the other ones are pretty straightforward. We've seen them before. They behave just like they did previously, and they don't really require too much mentioning. Afterburner is the one that allows you to use your movements, I almost said exo movements, but your like thrust movements more often, and I believe it also recharges those movements faster. So it essentially acts as if it were lightweight or something like that. It allows you to thrust jump a little bit more often, slide a little bit more often, do all of those movements a little bit more often and for a longer period as far as I can tell. As for the Overclock perk, this is the one that allows you to earn your specialist ability faster. So that specialist ability is a thing like those gravity spikes where you can slam down and kill anybody that's in the immediate area as you're slamming down, or you can use the glitch thing which makes you teleport back a few seconds to where you were. I will be talking a lot more in detail about these specialist abilities later on. A different video, definitely, not this video. So what do I think about the balance in this tier? I really like it. I really like how this is set up. This is actually the reason I like the pick 10 system over Ghost perk system, because there's a trade-off. These are some very powerful perks in this tier of perks. So we've got like Flak Jacket, Blind Eye, and Ghost. These are extremely powerful perks. And I like that they're in the same tier and they're competing with each other. So there's a trade-off. If you want to be immune to explosives, or not necessarily immune, but you want to survive explosives easily, well, now you're going to start showing up on the mini-map when I have a UAV called in. Or you're going to be exposed to my score streaks. Or you're going to move just a little bit slower than the guy that's using the Afterburner perk. This is what I like about this tier. There's that trade-off. Now, of course, you can use a wild card, but that's also another trade-off. Now you're trading off 2 points that you could be spending elsewhere in your class, so it is definitely a trade-off there. So I like the fact that you can't be immune from my explosives, my score streaks, and stay off the UAV. I like that there's always going to be that weakness on every one of the classes. So that's the first tier. I think the most used perks are going to be Ghost and Flak Jacket. We might see some of the less skilled players using Overclock. I'm going to put it that way, the nice way. I don't think Overclock is something I'm ever going to use. It's the one that allows you to earn your specialist abilities faster. Honestly, it feels like it might just be a waste of a perk. Like, Ghost is helping you a lot. Blind Eye is helping you a lot. Flak Jacket's helping you a lot. Afterburner probably could be helping you a lot. I have yet to play the game, so I'm not so sure how effective it's going to be. Drifter seemed to think that it was quite effective, so I'm going to trust him on that one. I think it's going to be an effective rushing perk for anybody that wants to rush around. Blast Suppressor, I don't think it's going to be a very useful perk. From what I've seen, it doesn't look like you're using those thrusts very often, and when you do, it doesn't look like your ping is very clearly visible like it is in Advanced Warfare. In Advanced Warfare, any smart player that's got an eye on the minimap can see where all these little boosts are when an enemy doesn't have Blast Suppressor, but in Black Ops 3, I don't think it's going to be nearly as much of an issue. So I think it's going to be between Flak Jacket, Blind Eye, Ghost, and Afterburner. Those are going to be the main perks that we see. So let's move on to the tier 2 perks. We have Hardwired, Scavenger, Fast Hands, Tracker, Ante Up, and Cold Blooded. So let's just go over the perks really quick. Hardwired. That one is basically immunity to EMPs, counter UAVs, and there's a few other new equipments and stuff, but it's basically that perk that protects you from those sorts of things. Also, it has that added bonus of delaying equipment like bouncing betties, claymores, shock charges. I don't really know what the equipment's going to be. I do have a list of equipment somewhere, but I got to go through that. That's going to be for a different video. So it also delays that, just like the, I believe it was Engineer perk did in Black Ops 2. I'm pretty sure it was Engineer. But either way, it's the one that delays that as well. Scavenger, straightforward. Fast Hands. Now this one actually has a little bit of a buff. It took something from Dexterity from Black Ops 2, and that is the ability to aim down sight faster after sprinting, or basically get firing your gun after sprinting, which I think is going to be an extremely powerful perk now. This is going to be basically a must-have for a rusher. Tracker, this one, Drifter explained this a little bit. This is the only explanation I've ever seen is Drifter's explanation. That allows you to actually see imprints of footsteps on the ground where enemies and I think teammates have been as well, maybe not teammates. But like Drifter said, this is not going to be very useful on the hectic respawn game modes because there's going to be footprints everywhere. But in something like Search and Destroy, it might be useful. Ante Up, which from my understanding is essentially Hardline, and Cold-Blooded, which is Cold-Blooded, basically from old Call of Duties. And it also defends a little bit against that Tracker perk, as far as I can tell. So what do I think of this tier? I think this is kind of that bonus tier. It's that tier where you honestly don't need anything from this tier. You could go without these perks and there'd be no issue. You probably wouldn't notice too much, aside from maybe Fast Hands. I think Fast Hands is the clear winner in this category. That's probably the one I'm going to be using most often. Scavenger is also definitely going to be a powerful one if you want to go on longer streaks. So I would definitely think that that's going to be used often. As for the other ones, I don't know. We'll probably... I think Hardwired is one of those perks where you always want to have a hardwired class ready to go just in case. But it's not something you just run all the time on your classes. So that's really my thoughts on that. As for Hardline, I never really was too much of a fan of Hardline. I'm not too sure if they use a percentage decrease like they did in Black Ops 2 for Hardline, or Ante Up in this case, or if it's just going to be a simple 100 score reduction or something like that. If it's a percentage decrease, I could see this being very useful. If it's just that 100 score, I don't think I'll ever use it. So let's finally move on to the last tier, and that is the red tier. So with this one, we have Engineer, Dead Silence, Awareness, Tactical Mask, Gung-ho, and Sixth Sense. So all the other ones, all the first ones are basically exactly how they were in previous Call of Duties as far as I'm aware. Gung-ho, this is returning from Advanced Warfare. This one might be pretty useful. I don't know. It really depends to me on whether or not they have that little animation stutter with the Gung-ho. Like they had in Advanced Warfare, because that's what really turned me away from that perk. If it didn't have that little stutter before aiming down sight when you come out of sprint from Gung-ho, then I probably would use it way more often. So, I don't know. That one's I'm kind of on the fence about. Sixth Sense. Now, this one is something that's brand new. I'll just show you a brief clip from the actual multiplayer trailer reveal here, and it shows you what Sixth Sense actually does. If you look at the mini-map here, there's an enemy behind this guy and to the side. Basically, anywhere where that enemy is, I think it works only within a certain range, obviously, so it has to be pretty close. It'll show you on the mini-map there, the little red triangle things. Basically, it shows you which direction that enemy is coming from. And I think this could be a really useful perk. I don't know what counters this. I kind of have a feeling it's going to be either Cold-Blooded or Ghost. Maybe Dead Silence. I'm not too sure. But I really hope there is a counter to this. So overall, what do I think about this tier? I think it's going to be... For me, probably mostly Dead Silence I'm going to have on every one of my classes. I have yet to play the game, like I said, so I don't know what footstep sounds are going to be like, but I really like not hearing my footsteps. It's not necessarily so much my enemies not hearing my footsteps, it's me not hearing my footsteps that I like about that perk. I can't stand that in Advanced Warfare. It sounds like I'm an elephant running around, and I can't hear what's going on around me because I'm running around a lot. As for the other perks in that tier... I don't know. I think Engineer is going to be one of those ones where you have on a certain class that's designed for a certain role, but it's not going to be on every one of your classes. Awareness, again, I don't know about the footstep sounds. Search and Destroy, it's probably going to be very useful. Aside from that, who knows? I guess we'll wait and see. And Sixth Sense, I don't know. I think it really depends on what counters it. And again, I think it's just something we have to wait and see. I think this also depends on what the footstep sounds are like, because I have a really good headset, so my headset basically serves the same function as this perk as long as the footstep sounds are clearly audible. So we'll have to see what the balance is like there. So there's all the perks in Black Ops 3, and I forgot to mention that this is with the current build. This is the E3 build, so things could always change, although with perks, I kind of have a feeling this is going to be where they are. They might tweak some of the balancing within the perks, but I don't think they're going to change much from now until launch. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section below which of the perks you think you guys are going to be using most often. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.